we're going to be talking about season 2 of The Witcher. So, if you haven't seen it, there's going to be heavy spoilers. Just want to go ahead and forewarn you, and we'll begin. I did not think it was good at all. I thought the first episode, you could even say the second episode was good, right?
Yeah.
But man, especially the ending too. It's bad for multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons being that with The Witcher, from those, I haven't read the books. I only played the third video game, so I haven't even played both of them, but I plan on to. I'm getting a PC soon.
So they're not technically canon, the games?
The games aren't?
No, so can I just... Well, we're in spoilers, right?
Yeah, okay. We're in spoilers.
So
I thought they kept... So before you begin, I thought the games, though, even though they weren't canon, they kept the essence of all the characters. You know what I mean?
Yes. So the biggest thing about the books,
they didn't change the characters themselves.
Yeah, pretty much. The biggest thing about the books, which I have not read either, it's just something that I've picked up on over the years because I played 1 and 2. I mean, it's been almost 10 years,
okay,
give or take. But Geralt dies at the end of the books,
right?
And there's a lot of people that don't know that, and he's revived basically so the games can happen, and which is fine. But it's just kind of an interesting thing. Is like they're not really canon, though. I would probably tell you that at all of the games, including the first one, which is not great as far as like a game aspect of it is concerned. It's long too. It's like a 60-hour game. They're better than the show for sure. Like,
oh yeah,
holy crap! Like, I appreciate that this did not jump time periods as much as the first season did.
I will say it's better than the first season.
It's better than season 1, which isn't saying a lot. But
no,
for me, the only times it was good is when Henry Cavill was doing his Witcher stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Soapbox time.
Go ahead.
So first off, I want to say a lot of the people I listen to when they review The Witcher are two categories of people: those who are good movie reviewers and have read the books, right? And then those who are good movie reviewers and haven't read the books,
right? So
you get two perspectives. One perspective of someone who knows the books inside and out, in which people like that are going to be more critical of a movie. But then you have people who haven't, but who understand TV shows and movies, how to set them up and everything, and can just tell you if this is good. And both of them are saying that it is terrible.
Yeah.
My own opinion before listening to anyone was that it wasn't good. This is the main reason. The first main reason is, what's the show title, David?
The Witcher.
Who's the main character?
Ciri. And Yennefer, kinda. And then Geralt on occasion when they need like to break up the monotonous like boringness of like people riding on horses and talking. I have small things that I liked, but they're very small and like,
yes,
you know what I mean?
The CGI again was bad.
Yeah.
Terrible. Like there are some.
I was going to say there's like occasional moments where I was like, and this is the thing though, is like it was usually, that's not that bad. And then there's other moments where you're like, oh, like what?
Yes.
It looks like it wasn't finished. It
does. And
like
some
of the fights with monsters are just like, ugh.
Oh, dude! Especially at the end, that season, that last episode
like
of season 8,
basilisks or whatever they were.
Yeah, that was just a bad TV. That was just a bad episode as a whole.
Oh, dude! You know what the worst part of that episode was? It was the freaking the Wild Hunt. They looked they looked like villains from the Hercules television show in the 90s.
No, they look like villains from Mortal Kombat Outer World.
Oh, yes, 90s outer, like weird. Yes, absolutely, I agree. It was so, and it's so annoying because the Wild Hunt is supposed to be like legitimately terrifying. Like these are supposed to be some of the most powerful people in Witcher lore, and you have like. They just look like, it looks like bad cosplay.
Yes, it does. Looks like terrible
It
cosplay. Okay. Before
anyway.
we get too ahead of ourselves.
Yes. Well, we don't have to go episode by episode. It's
Nope.
it's kind of just overview, but keep going.
Yeah. So I want to say what I mean though is say we can talk about that. I want to save talking about episode 8. I guess we're already in it. Who
It's
cares?
too late. Yeah.
It's too late. It's too late. Yeah. It was bad cosplay.
Yeah.
Bad. That episode as a whole was just bad. Just like Geralt talking to Siri possessed by the demon.
Yeah.
And just, the entire episode just saying, you're stronger than this, Siri. You're stronger than Siri. Come back home. And don't get me wrong, the shining star of the show is Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Cavill
He's putting effort in, man.
Oh, he put so much effort in. He is holding it together because
he's like
he
doing
gets the character spot on.
He's trying to do his best it holds up, but he's doing his interpretation of the voice from the games, because that's the only reference to that specific voice that I'm aware. I'm sure the book mentions that he's got like a gravelly voice or whatever, but that's specifically the voice from the games.
Yep.
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying, is that when he is the focus, which is maybe a quarter of the show if I'm being generous, it's pretty good, right? I mean, there's still a lot of the same problems, that it's like the production looks pretty cheap. The action doesn't always feel quite right. It doesn't flow the way that it should, right? Because the whole idea is that like the Witchers have different like fighting styles, and they use them for different reasons. And you never really get that intention. This feels like a show where, like you were saying, like Henry Cavill, the actor, cares a lot about this.
Yes, he
does. It
does.
Doesn't seem like anyone else cares as much as he does.
No, it doesn't. That's a lot of the people I've gathered from those who've read the books, right, and then those who haven't, each said, but specifically those who've read the books, that doesn't seem like the showrunner. And again, this is what we keep bringing up, has a love for, the novels, right? Has a love for The Witcher and what's been created.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that you can't introduce new ideas, new themes.
Wait,
new
so
elements.
sorry, are you saying the showrunner doesn't or does have a?
Doesn't.
So okay.
Does not.
Okay.
And again, this is what we keep talking about, is that it's okay if you want to introduce new ideas and everything, but you want to keep the essence of who the character is and the different themes and elements that the author has, right?
Yeah.
It's okay if you want to bring like basically kind of how it goes is, in my opinion, I think you want to do 90% source material, and if you want to do new material, 10%, because the author's already done all the work for you.
I would have just a thought that popped up the top of my head. I would have just said it after the books. Just be like, this takes place between 2 and 3 of the games. We're gonna do, we might poke around and talk to the developers and maybe the guy who wrote the books, and we'll have some sort of like little connection thing in here. Maybe like Siri and some of these other characters will show up. But like, yeah, they're trying to adapt something that really needs someone who's passionate about that,
about the work to do it,
and has the budget to also do it.
Yes, because they obliterate Yennefer. Yennefer is not who she is in the books or in the video games at all.
The game, she's only in the last one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the game. It's okay. In The Witcher 3, she's not. In the funny. Books and in that game, she's not the character at all. This is a completely new character, and not. And with all of that said, she's supposed to be the most or one of the most powerful sorcerers, right? Mm-hmm. Witches, right? In there, or mages, I should say. And she's like reduced to nothing.
Yeah, she basically, because
she gets her powers back because she sacrificed herself for Ciri. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she spends
that makes no sense.
She loses her powers, spends the whole season whining about it.
Yeah.
Manipulates Ciri.
And then betrays Gerard. I'm sorry. Keep wanting to say Garrett. Gerard.
Geralt.
I'm sorry. Geralt.
Yeah.
Geralt. Sorry. Geralt.
Geralt of Rivia.
I know who his name is. Geralt.
The wolf.
And
man, I want to play those games again.
I know I've been wanting to play. I have the third one. I've been wanting to play it so bad. She betrays Geralt, and it's not something that she would do. And it's like, again, they're ruining her. And not only that, but I couldn't believe that they were trying to rehabilitate Triss's image by giving her more scenes and making her hair like redder, it seemed like, as the episodes went on.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that's Triss. Yeah. She's great in the.
It's
she's
funny
great
because
in
they
the
took
games.
her.
I
think they do show her idealistic nature some.
Yeah.
But they took her iconic title of the 14th Hill and gave that to Yennefer as if Yennefer wasn't already powerful enough.
Yeah.
And then there's just that terrible justification with Yen regarding her powers. And, she sacrificed herself for Ciri after whining about it for the, how she lost him at the end of season 1.
Well, they're doing Triss dirty.
Yeah.
It's really funny because, again, if you've played 1 and I think this is just a theory, right? And I'm just talking about the games for a second, but it feels like it connects. If you played The Witcher 1 and 2, right? My assumption would be in the third game, you send Yennefer packing. Maybe that's my bias because that's exactly what I did. I was like, get out. I was like, I don't know you. Get out of here, right? Because
his love interest wasn't Yennefer, was it?
In the games, no, it's Triss.
Yeah, that's what I thought. In games 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then when 3 comes in, it's Yennefer and Trish, right?
Yes. Along with other people, kind of.
Yeah, right. Right.
Anyway, so it's very odd. One of the things that I had kind of just considered since finishing it is that, again, it would have been better if they had just sort of taken this out of trying to adapt the novels, which is already a hard task, and gone, all right, we're going to do something based somewhere within the realm of the games. We'll use context from everything that's been going on to try to like keep from like stepping on any of that, but you have a lot more room to play with, right? Because it's like, okay, now we have access to all of these monsters. We have access to a lot of these characters. We can do something closer to what should have happened, where it doesn't have to be a monster of the week, but that's the closest like kind of idea I can get, where the episodes, they're individual like episodes where Geralt is doing like, okay, he's got to go after a griffin or whatever, right? Because it's hunting down a town, like they do occasionally in the show. And then maybe another episode is a little bit more of like a character study of the different races, right? Because one of the biggest things about like The Witcher is that like the dwarves, the elves, and the humans, and the mages, and everybody else, whoever else is in there, they all kind of hate each other, right? This isn't this isn't Lord of the Rings where they're all kind of like peeved at each other for different reasons, but they occasionally put their differences aside to come together. It's like the humans look at the elves as lesser. Right? They legitimately, there's like real racism going on within Witcher lore. Everyone hates, or a lot of people hate the Witchers, right? Like they discriminate against them because of the color of their eyes and because they consider them to be like, essentially to be monsters. Yet they still continue to use their services because they're the ones that are like hunting down the monsters. There's all kinds of stuff that they could have done, could have made it interesting. This did not have to be a Lord of the Rings epic. Right? You just had to do something that was kind of cool, kept fans interested, jangle the keys in front of the fans. Yeah. Like, if we've learned anything from Spider-Man, right, it's that nostalgia works. Ooh, I know that. Ooh, that's a cool reference. It works really, really well. And then all you have to do is give some sort of interesting action and have a through line for each episode. You don't have to do this big overarching nonsensical garbage that they did in the first season and to a way lesser extent did in the second season, but still it was like...
I think they shot themselves in the foot in the first season a lot. I think it was just one of the main things that, like, the problem that they did in the first season is they should have focused it primarily on Geralt
Yeah.
and do world building through that lens, and then introduce. I think like so some of the main problems. My main problem is that they didn't like stick to the all the lines from the book or from the video games, right? It's not that. It's that they show the characters and their relationships in such a superficial. I feel like this is the best way to say it, a superficial CW teen show.
Oh yeah, well that's who's writing this stuff.
And the writing is so bad. I mean, I was talking about Kalo. I literally paused the episode when Yaskir got rescued from jail by Geralt, and he sits there and at first I'm like, oh, good, they hug. He didn't say some kind of corny joke and like trying to make a speech and everything while they need to hurry up and get out. But then literally right after they hug, it's him doing that exact thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and it's one thing for a character like that to make a quick joke or whatnot and then get like, we got to get out of here type deal. But I mean,
it's just that's the writing. Everyone thinks that's the thing now. And, it's funny that's something that's like rampant in Marvel movies, right?
It is.
It's so annoying. And I think, though, it's the thing that's going to wake most people up to how bad a lot of this stuff is. Because I have talked to a few people about it, and that has kind of gotten in their head, and then they've mentioned it to other people, and they've told me that they have. And now those people, even people who are like die-hard fans of some of this stuff, they're going, oh, yeah, that does kind of suck. Like, why do they do that? And it's like, once you get that in, it's like, oh, man, what else is kind of going on with this that I haven't been paying attention to? And, man, there's some stuff that I could go on for, like, forever about with just some of the annoyances of the way that all this stuff is written.
Yeah. I should say that's my secondary complaint. My main complaint, actually, that would be my main complaint. My secondary complaint is that this isn't there. There's too much going on. This isn't about. So you have the writing, which then influences these next 2 points. It's not about Geralt, and there's too much going on. Too many storylines, and they're trying to do Game of Thrones. You don't have to do Game of Thrones.
Please don't.
We don't want that again.
I hope one day, because this isn't it. I'm sure they'll do another season. Did you see that they're doing some like spin-off prequel thing
of The Witcher?
Yeah, it was at the end. They had some sort of like trailer at the end of the last episode or something like that. You guys probably cut it off before then, but it was just like I left it. I was in the middle, kind of like the end of that episode. I was like, okay, can we please end this? I was like, you've already gotten past like the big fight. Why is there still another like 10 or 15 minutes left in this? Like, come on now, let's go. Let's get this done. And then I left the credits rolling, and I was like, oh, they're playing something else. I don't know if it's based on, like, if it's actual, like, lore, or if they're just making this stuff up off the top of their head, like they're planning on doing with Lord of the Rings. It sucks to say that it's bad. Like, it hurts legitimately to be like, yeah, The Witcher sucks, but that show is not good.
It's to me, it's not good. And Henry Cavill is doing all he can. It's a for one thing, it's a Polish epic, right?
Right.
Fantasy novel. It's a Polish fantasy novel. And no problem introducing whatever race or whatnot, but make it make sense. Everyone's so like that's the one thing Game of Thrones did perfectly is that you got to understand the world.
Yep.
And then again, as we mentioned, the further north you went, the wider people became, the closer to the equator that you went, the darker their skin became. This is just everywhere.
Yeah, it's
like nothing makes sense. You got,
Though I think I'd have to go back and play 3 again. I think that they kind of mess with some of that, but they definitely do some race swapping in the show for sure.
I don't care. I don't care. Just like make it make sense.
Yeah, there's not
plausibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely.
I think it's good. I think they should do that. That's fine. I don't really have a problem with it when it comes to
it's
fantasy for the most part.
Yeah, the problem is it's Polish.
Yeah. Exactly.
The source, and that's the thing though, is like source material doesn't matter to any of the people writing or producing this stuff, right? The people who
what did
are
that mean?
putting this out.
I saw earlier it'd be like Ryan Gosling playing Obama in a memoir on him in a movie.
And everyone will just go, oh, well, that's whataboutism. It's like, but it's the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to have like Ryan Gosling playing T'Challa.
Right.
Or the girl who played Siri in this playing T'Challa's sister. Siri,
exactly.
Right? Or Shiri. Or yeah, whatever. It's actually really close to Siri. Yeah, so it's just like, hey, maybe we can be a little more respectful to the source material. And if
like they do a good job with the mages and with the witchers, okay, that makes sense. I can see why there's diverse races there.
What's her face? She's the black mage or whatever.
Oh yeah, she's really good. Her acting's great.
Yeah, but she's definitely like pale white in the games.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
She's a massive jerk too, which is really interesting that they decided to cast that role the way that they did in that context.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. I'm still processing a lot of it, and it's mainly just because Henry Cavill's acting is so great, and he captures the essence of the character. And don't get me wrong, I think everybody's acting is great, and it's not the actors or actresses at all. It's purely just the writing, and this is a problem.
Yeah,
you get someone who doesn't love the source material, and this is what you get.
It's boring.
Fine to introduce new things, but you want to keep the characters and their essence the same, and that's what Henry Cavill does a great job of.
It's also boring.
And I think the actors and actresses are doing the best they can with what they've been giving.
Yeah, but if you don't have anything going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it's boring.
Yeah,
you're like, all right, well,
I thought the CGI was worse. I don't know. Maybe I just need to rewatch season one. I thought season one CGI was better.
I'd have to go. I'm not planning on watching either of these seasons again. Because I almost went back and watched season one, and then I went, nah, I kind of remember enough of what happened. I was like, I'll just watch the intro thing, and that'll clear my head up about a few things. Dude, yeah, I don't even know if I'll watch season 3. Have you seen the prequel with Vesemir?
No.
You should watch that. Highly recommended. It's like an animated movie with Vesemir when he was younger. It's called like Winter or shoot, I can't remember. Anyway, it's on Netflix. It's like an hour and a half maybe.
Is that one The Nightmare of the Wolf?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's really good. It's kind of probably the direction they should have gone with this.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more you can do with the animation, and it displays probably something that's like closer to what you would want from a series like this, when you have like a lot of this like mystical stuff going on, and you got these guys like flipping around and chopping monsters' heads off and doing that whole deal. It's a lot better.
That's cool. I was gonna say lastly, and then we can move on. So along with like one of the things that makes sense, the reason why like why you see the races just everywhere and it doesn't make sense, and just their entire world is that they didn't, and they still haven't done a good job world building. You still don't understand where Sintra is on the map. You still don't understand where what's the other ones? There's Redania. Is that how you pronounce it?
Nilfgaard,
Skellige, and then you have King Foltest, who's what's his kingdom called? I forget.
I think it's. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Listen,
they just don't do a good job of world building, so you don't know where anything is. That way, you can kind of make sense with stuff.
Joseph,
what's that?
In the 7-step program, the first thing that you have to do is acceptance, right? It's just repeat after me. Are you ready?
I am a racist.
That's it.
Yep. I know. It's disappointing. And it's like they're just destroying IPs out there, man.
Yeah. Dude, it's okay. It's fine.
And 20 years from now, we're going to get people who's like, Hollywood's going to redeem itself, and it's like, we're going to give you all these shows how they should have been.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably
I mean,
not.
it's one of those things that, just like Mega Man, I was telling my buddy Jake a couple weeks ago, I was like, they're just coming for everything. I was like, I'm surprised. I mean, obviously those Ninja Turtle movies were pretty terrible. I was like, but I'm surprised they haven't come back for the Ninja Turtles yet. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're coming.